Pretty smooth, right? Some good music to listen to while we wait. Welcome, everybody. Good evening. Happy Monday, February of 2025. We're beginning this month already, man. January is up, 1 month down in the year. Are you moving forward? Are you moving your business the way that you want to move it this year? That's my question to you. And if you're not, well, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for, man? You get to go out here in 2025, you get to crush it, you get to make this the best year of your life, especially if you're in the trucking industry and you want to act now. Act now to take your business to new heights, new levels. There are a lot of things that are happening in the world today. There are a lot of things that are happening in terms of technology, policy changes. How are you gonna how are you gonna benefit from this, guys? How are you gonna benefit from this? And part of how you benefit is by being in this conversation with me tonight, just understanding how you can go beyond where you are now, even if you're at seven figures. How do you get beyond seven figures? If you are not yet at seven figures, well, how do you get to seven figures in your company and maintain your sanity? This conversation is a component of how you can do that. And I'm excited to be in this conversation with you and deliver this content to you. Okay, so if you don't know who I am, let's get started, guys. Let's go. My name is Cheston Bulgin with By the Books Consulting, senior consultant here, CFO, tax strategist, also known as your accounting superhero. Yes, that's me. You can reach us at 888-4BTB now. That's 888-428-2669. My people's on the call, man, just welcome if you're here tonight. By the way, just go ahead and give yourself an introduction, say hello, and just so I can acknowledge you that you're here in the conversation with me. We have a few people chiming in from YouTube, so I want to acknowledge you guys over there, YouTube also. Hello, I see you over there. That's Wealth and Legacy Unlimited. I know who that is. I know who that is. Good to be with you tonight. And guys, just to continue on this whole theme, you can reach us also on the web at youraccountingsuperhero.com. You can reach me via email, cbulgin@youraccountingsuperhero.com. And you can definitely follow me on Instagram if you haven't done that. You want to do that right now. If you're in this conversation, even if you're watching this in hindsight, if you're watching the recording, and okay, I got it. Let me make sure that those of you who want to be with me live on this call, and you're coming in from YouTube, and you haven't gotten the link to be with me live on Zoom, I'm going to do this for you right now. Okay. Give me a second, guys. And while I do that, let me just take this down. I want you guys to be with me in this call. So if you want to be here anyway, I want to make sure you have every opportunity to get into this call. And let's go. I want to make sure that I'm going to copy the link and I'm going to put it there in YouTube for you guys to join right now. If you guys are right here on YouTube, you can transition and be with me live. And the benefit of doing this live with me right here in the call is that, man, you can make it a conversation. This is what I'm here for tonight, guys, for it's to be a conversation with you, not only to be a monologue, really not to just be a monologue, but to be a conversation where you get elevated in terms of your understanding of things that you did not yet understand. Some of you guys may be intelligent, man. You're the smartest people on the planet. You might not need to be in this conversation because you just know everything, right? This is only for you, people who actually say you want to gain something inside this conversation. You can definitely be a part of it by joining me live on Zoom right now. Okay. Now, if you're watching this recording on YouTube, too late for that, man. This is from 7 p.m. right? 7 p.m. Eastern time to be able to join me live and make this a conversation to have the full benefit of being here in this conversation. So, hey, man, you snooze, you lose. And if you want to join, I put that link in the chat on YouTube, man. So you have an opportunity to get on with me live. Ask questions, man. Make it a conversation. Get something for yourself. If you're going to be here 100% all in. What I found for myself is that when I've operated that way, when I've taken things on in a way where I'm 100% all in, I'm going to get mine. Guess what? I always do. I always get mine when I treat it that way. And I invite you to do the same. Okay. So enough said about that. Let's continue, guys. Let's continue this conversation. So basically, okay, so if you can reach us you want to reach us here. If you want to reach us, you want to reach out here these ways. And you specialize in these areas, guys. Definitely the accounting and the tax we specialize in. We also specialize in QuickBooks Online, the technologies that help you run your business. In addition to that, we help you with that, to create some systems and structures around that. We also do tax strategy and tax planning, two separate things, really, by my own devised definition, because tax planning, I see it as something else other than tax strategy. Tax strategy is cool because we want to come up with the ways that that you can avoid paying taxes more so than necessary, reduce your taxes possibly to zero in this situation legally, okay, tax strategy. But beyond strategy, oh, Gerald, I see you're on the line too, man. I see you on YouTube. Yeah, we had a great conversation today, this me and Gerald. So fantastic, great for you to join today. So, so guys, we also do the tax planning is a different thing. The tax planning is when we go out and execute on the strategy. Okay, like how are we going to execute on the strategy rather? Like what things we're going to put in place, what the timing of it and everything else. How are we going to go and execute? That's the plan, game plan. Come up with a strategy. This is the modality, what we're going to do here. And planning is how we're going to implement this thing step by step. Okay, two things that we do. And of course, advisory, we look at things inside of your unique situation in your business and say, okay, you might want to do things this way. This is going to be your choice. Go do that. And hopefully you have you will win because we give you a high probability scenario to win at what you're up to. So that's that. And the other thing is, this is how you become a part of the Truck Profit Academy. So the Truck Profit Academy is a group that we're building out. It's a smaller community right now, but it's a powerful community in which you can come and be amongst others of like mind and crush it in your trucking company. Okay, so in order to be a part of that, you can go to truckprofitacademy.com and get registered. If you get signed up here, it's going to be, $19 a month for a basic uh, um, subscription and $39 per month for VIP subscription. And this won't always be the same, guys. We're constantly developing this because this is a high value proposition that we're building out, and we're doing this. I'm putting all this attention into these areas because my promise that you don't know about, my promise that I've actually given to you is that you win. And the whole idea behind that promise is that I I really get to be somebody, and our team really gets to be the people that can guide you toward that victory with a great degree of certainty. Okay, that's what we want to do here in this Truck Profit Academy is to build out systems for you guys, and really structures for you guys to win with a high degree of certainty. That's what we're looking to do there. And really quickly before we get started with everything, where is my disclaimer, man? Oh yeah, I gotta do it on a separate screen, my friends. Bear with me a second, guys, as I pull this up for you guys, man. Yeah, make sure we adjust these slides for you guys. It's clear that when we get together here on these calls, that although I want to be a stand for you in this area, we don't have an agreement to work together. So we put together these disclaimers. And I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. We put together these disclaimers so that we're clear. If you want to work with us, you can work with us, and then we don't need to have a disclaimer. I go to bat with you in order to achieve those outcomes as somebody who's here in that capacity. Okay, so here we go. All right, so the following. Look at that guy. The following is for educational purposes only and is not to be considered financial, accounting, or legal advice. Please consult your tax, accounting, and/or legal professional for specific advice. All right, so now that that's done, let's get back to business, guys. There's some things that we want to do here tonight with you. We started this conversation about we started this conversation about scaling your business, your trucking company beyond seven figures, and some of the things that it takes to do that, okay, and it takes to scale your business beyond seven figures. Some of you may not want to do that. And you may not want to scale your business beyond seven figures because you might be saying to yourself, man, I can barely keep up with the seven figures that I'm creating. I can barely keep up with the six figures that I've created here. There's a whole lot that's going on in my trucking company. Justin, I don't even want to think about scaling up that way. And that's fine. It's okay to think that way. All right. This conversation, if you're in it, here's what I invite you to do. I invite you to take off the limiters for just a moment. Take off the limiters for just a moment, because the only reason you haven't gotten to this point in your company yet is because those limiters, like, man, it's too much for me to handle. This is too much stress for me to handle. It's too much overwhelm, and I don't have what it takes to go and do this. And this is not even what I'm really signed up for. I'm not signed up for all these headaches. Okay, you may be in that mode, in that modality, mentally, and I invite you to take that modality off, because if that were not in the way, then you would be able to possibly, if you had nothing else there, see creating it beyond seven figures in a way where you can maintain your peace of mind and develop the legacy that you want to develop without having to go through all the same headaches at a higher degree that you're going through now. Okay. There's a way that we can create this so that you can have exactly what you want and have your business go beyond seven figures and look back one day and say, man, I built this thing. I built this thing. And this is something that I can be proud for, but not just that. Even when I pass on and leave this earth, I still have something here that nobody can take away. Okay. Now you get to create that just by being in this conversation and by allowing yourself to remove those limiters just for a moment. Okay. Now we can see what's possible in terms of going beyond seven figures. We have been in this conversation, particularly around finance, the finance portion of it, for the last couple of weeks. And we're going to finish on this today. Okay. I'm going to complete on this today with you so that you're set up to win 100%. Okay. Now, where we left off last time was here, growth, finance and the impact on growth. Okay. So if you haven't been in this conversation up until now, I invite you to go back and look at the previous videos that we have created in this area so that you can get yourself up to speed. Because what I want to do now is take the time to talk about finance and its impact on growth and what you can look at and to intentionally create that beyond seven figure trucking company, that beyond seven figure business. Okay. One of the things that we look at are diversification, enhancing income streams. So what does this mean? All right. So before I get into, actually, let me complete on what it says, and I'll be with you and explain what this is about. Okay. Diversifying revenue sources such as freight brokerage, logistics services, or expanding into new markets can lead to increased income. Utilizing technology for load optimization and improving operational efficiencies also boosts profitability. Okay, so the first part of that was opportunities to create, and the second part of that was opportunities to be optimal in operations. Okay, that's what that is. Now, if I can be with you for a moment, if you ever experienced being stuck in a loop, a lot of us that are on this call may have experienced being stuck in a loop. So what do I mean? It's like every day, all right, you go out and do similar things. Like for example, you may have a certain time of day that you wake up, you're used to it, you wake up the same time every morning. It might not be early. Okay, it might be after the time that a lot of folks get up. You might miss a lot of portion of your day. If you guys are some late sleepers, you can tell on yourself and put a two in the chat. Two in the chat if you're a late sleeper. Okay, but that might be your pattern. This is one of the things that you're used to doing. You might be used to having certain things to eat in the morning, or you might not eat at all. Okay, you may have a certain routine with working out in the morning. Okay, and then of course beyond this regular personal routine that you may have for yourself, there are routines that you may get present to inside of your business, okay? Inside of your business, inside of your trucking company, things that you do on a daily basis, patterns, right, that you have. Now, one of the things that I want us to get present to in this conversation is that it does not necessarily serve to allow yourself to be locked into these patterns. Why? Because there's a day-to-day functionality. I call it sleeping mode, right? And we just go into the motions of life. And let me make sure that you guys are still with me here, okay? I just had some type of glitch technologically. So let me make sure you guys are still here. If you guys are still with me, just put a 3 in the chat if you're still here with me. And give me a second. I'm going to close a window here because I'm hearing all the chaos outside. I hear a fire truck and all that other stuff outside my office here. Bear with me 1 second, guys. All right, I'm back. Look at that, quick and easy. Now, if you are allowing yourself to stay in that loop, then you may be missing out on the systems. All right, the systems that it would require for you to go beyond where you are right now in your company. So, for example, like I was on a call with my team. Like, we do the same stuff. Like every business that we work with, be it trucking industry or construction, be it mental health services, because we do work with a few different industries, guys. It just so happens that I specialize in working with you guys. Okay, I specialize in working with you guys, and with that being understood, like in terms of systems and everything, there is something that you and I want to get present to in terms of stepping outside of that loop for ourselves. Because if you go through the day to day, you're doing the same thing day in and day out, and you're not stepping out of that window of automaticity for yourself, then you're not going to be able to create beyond your current circumstances. You're not going to be able to go beyond what it is that you're normally used to doing. Okay. So, like for me, I had this conversation with our team, and I do it for my own business. Every time I do work, so we have systems and structures. So we have people and delegation and all that. Another way of systematizing things. So we have delegation for our teams, and a lot of you do that. But there's an effectiveness to the approach of how to get the most out of the people that you have, so you can do more with less effort and you can be efficient in what you do. So I talk with my team. Every once in a while I get back in and doing the work. Like for instance, this year I've decided to do a lot of taxes myself, tax work personally, do a lot of tax work myself, like just all the data entry and everything else. Now, when I go through these processes, and even if I go through the process of working with somebody in their finances, like transaction review for their bookkeeping, to understand exactly how their money is flowing transactionally, if I'm doing that work and I'm going through the process of doing it in my company, there will be things, even though I'm going through the day-to-day motions, get this, guys, this is a day-to-day function that must happen in business. Like there's a day-to-day function that must happen in your business. There needs to be somebody to plan loads. There are people who need to drive the trucks. There are people who need to communicate about how far along the process that load is, dispatchers and everything, and communication that wants to be in place. Okay. There are people who need to invoice and follow up on invoices that are not paid. All right. So all of these tasks, per se, day-to-day tasks, they're essential. We need to do these things. Now, what I'm saying is that if you are part of that yourself, because you will be, you're putting out fires, you're planning loads, you're making phone calls, you're doing the day-to-day, you're checking on emails and all these other things that you do. You're setting up, maintenance for equipment, working with shops and mechanics and everything, and issuing com checks, T checks, making sure people get advances. There's so many things that you do throughout a day. This is a fraction of it, okay? Now, I'm saying that all of that stuff is essential. All those things are essential. At the same time, you cannot allow yourself to be locked into that. All right, if you want to scale beyond where you are. So I'm going through the day-to-day inside of this company that we have, doing all that work. And as I'm doing it, I get to step outside for a moment and say, okay, well, this particular workflow and structure, this can be improved. This process here can actually be a higher performing process. Let me go take care of that. Be it I'm going to do it now, or I put in my calendar now to take care of that structure. Okay. I had a conversation with somebody about, potential revenue streams. This is what we're talking about here right now. Okay. So revenue streams, income streams. Like what other business units can we develop here in order to diversify how this one business makes money? So you may be thinking that you're used to planning loads inside of your business. You're in, and yeah, you have, right? So you've been used to planning loads inside of your business. And it may not necessarily be the only resource in terms of income generation. It may not be. There may be other things that you haven't considered that could be income generating activities. Okay. Now, if you have not, like we call it waking up for a moment, if you haven't woken up for a moment to say, okay, this pattern that we're in, there's more beyond it. Let me go see what's available. If you haven't done that for yourself, then you're not putting yourself in position to be able to generate more revenue. You're not putting yourself in position to scale beyond the current position. Okay. But what does that look like? Well, in trucking, there's so many different business units that you can fall into, like rental. You can rent equipment out. Some of you are already doing it to your owner operators. You're doing it with your owner operators. You're renting out equipment. Okay. And is that the only thing? No, it's not the only thing. You can rent out trailers. Yes, you can rent out trucks. Yes, you can lease those on. What if you had, you started building up your company where you own property? Some of our clients do own property, and we haven't even had that conversation yet about how they can use that property to develop multiple income streams from that one property, even though they're just doing trucking. Yeah, you can have on-site housing for your drivers. Yes, you can do that so that they have a place to stay. And some of them, like really, I remember when I was learning to drive and going to school to drive as somebody who drove trucks, there were people in my class who really were shifting life and they didn't have a place to stay. They were looking to make that truck their home, in terms of pivoting in life. What if you had a place for them to reside? Because now, get this, if they are just transitioning in life, opportunity here, they're just transitioning in life and they don't have a place to stay, there are a whole series of pains that they deal with because they're transitory. They can't really get financing for things. They can't really, it's going to be confusing for them to file their taxes. It's going to be confusing for them to um, get references out to people because they don't have a place where they can consider home, to have a mailing address or a physical address. And that becomes a problem for people just to operate and function in the basic society. Now, if you have it where you have property in your trucking company, well, you could have housing on that property, dedicated, segmented off to house your drivers, presenting them an opportunity to rebuild their life. Because a lot of people who come into the industry are in that position to rebuild their life. And a lot of them have been going through some problems at home, even people who have been in the industry for a long time. Because it's hard on the family when drivers are away from home. It causes stress on the home, the family life. Their wife, their spouse, they want them back home, and they're not home to take care of business, and they're home to be seen. And so it could be a situation where they're looking to pivot in life, or they need a transition in life, and you provide a solution there too. Okay, so what I'm doing here is breaking up internally what the status quo is for you to open up opportunities for you to create and generate new income streams is what this conversation at this stage is about, right? How many other income streams can you create? What other things can you do to generate more revenue? Now, what I want you to do, what I invite you to do rather, is to solidify operations from the one stream first, which means if you're going out here and you haven't really stabilized operations for pulling freight, go stabilize that first, make sure that that's solid. And then once that's solid, then we can move on into enhancing income streams, right? And diversifying income streams within the business itself. Okay, pretty cool things. And even if you're doing that, man, there are more tax incentives that you can take advantage by doing that. And guys, what I want you to hear in this is opportunity, opportunity, opportunity is what I want you to hear in this conversation. So we have that enhancing income streams. The other thing is that we want to talk about is asset growth strategies. We just touched on it a little bit, even in terms of being able to diversify the income in the business, like you're buying land if you haven't acquired land yet, or you even have land, right? And how you're going to get the most out of that asset and grow that asset base and take advantage of taxes at the same time. That's another conversation that I want to actually get into at a later time. But, making sure that you're taking fully advantage of your positioning in your company. All right. So asset growth strategies and it's investing in fleet upgrades and leveraging technology such as telematics and predictive maintenance enhances assets value, enhances asset value. Additionally, strategic partnerships and lease agreements may optimize capital while the capital used while expanding operational capacity. Okay. Now, basically, in a nutshell, we're talking about looking at, and again, you would need to wake up for a moment to step outside the status quo to see these things. Okay. And and when you step up and outside of the status quo to visualize this, now you can start seeing opportunities to go ahead and use what's available in your fleet in terms of assets that you already have this way, technologically. And then we can also do what we call declare gaps between where you are today and where you can be tomorrow in this area. Okay. And why would you want to do that? Because the more assets that you have and you're utilizing, you can see it inside of how you're already operating. If you go out there and you buy another truck, there's a potentiality to generate another $25,000 to $35,000 in revenue, at least from just going out and getting that truck. Okay. So that's an asset. The truck is an asset. And what else can be that? Can the technology help? Right? Can you go out here and use the land in the way like we talked about to create more revenue? All right. Now we want to enhance the way that you're able to go out here and generate income, and you can do it easy. Now, if you're listening, if you're present enough in this conversation, you can hear how you can go beyond seven figures in trucking through these financial strategies. Okay. And all we're talking about right now really are financial strategies. Okay. Asset growth strategies. So basically, we're looking at ways to grow your asset base in the company so that that asset base can improve in the income flow, increase the income flow. We call that return on assets. Okay. We're using that strategy here. Okay. And again, guys, like there's tax benefits to this too. Okay. This is what I want to say about that. There are tax benefits to this too. When I say tax benefits, when we talk about tax strategy, and there are ways that now, if you're doing these, if you're doing these actions, if you're investing, you can literally reduce your taxes to zero. Like any one of these strategies I've given you today can do that. Now, some of you are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes every year. What if that were reduced to zero, man? What if that were reduced to zero? Because you started using and leveraging these financial strategies we're talking about here today. Okay. Now, the next part, and really the final part of our conversation that I want to go through today is measuring financial success. Key performance indicators, call them KPIs, such as return on assets, is what I just said, ROA, and net profit margins provide insights into financial performance. Regular financial reviews and benchmarking against industry standards help identify areas for improvement and growth opportunities. Now, to bring it into layman's terms here, okay, we say it like this: what I can measure, I can manage, and what I can manage, I can master. What I can measure, I can manage. What I can manage, I can master. So if you're going out here measuring these aspects of your business, some of you are not set up to win that way. And guys, if you're on this call with me today, right now, and to the end, you get a treat. You get to get on a call with me. I'm going to actually send a link here to get a session scheduled with me for free. It's going to be a 30-minute strategy session that I'm going to give you access to right here, right now. Okay. All right. And we're going to wrap up this call right after that. This is my promise to you that I'm going to give you access to some one-on-one time with me. This is not with anybody else. It's going to be with me one-on-one time to take a look at your business and give you access. This is for taxes, by the way. This is specifically for taxes, nothing else. This is conversation around your taxes. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and get you this calendar link right here, right now in our chat, in our conversation. Okay. Boom. All right, bear with me, guys. Let me grab this link up for you guys. And then we're going to wrap this conversation up for today. Okay. So it's pretty awesome. You guys are going to get this consultation. I'm putting in our YouTube feed here. Man, YouTube, you guys are getting it from me today, okay? For you guys that are chiming in from YouTube. Okay, so there you go. Don't say I never did anything for you. All right. Now, this can actually be a transformative conversation. Some people I get on the call with about this in regards to their taxes, it becomes life-changing because, this is your path to wealth. I'm managing this. This is one of the largest expenses you're ever going to face in your lifetime. And if you control this, if you manage this, then you can just gain so much in terms of wealth. All right. So that's what that conversation is about. And, the thing that we wanted to leave you with here is what I can measure, I can master. Okay. Really, what I can measure, I can manage. And what I can manage, I can master. Essentially, what I can measure, I can master. Okay. But what I can measure, I can manage. And what I can manage, I can master. And what that means is that you want to get on a scale and look at the things that are measurable here. We call them key performance indicators. There are a few set things that if you're watching them financially, specifically here, we're talking about the finances. Like, for example, return on assets. How much are assets returning on us? Like, we can look at that per division. We can look at that per unit. We can look at that per piece of equipment, and see, well, what is the return on the assets here overall? We can get really granular in that in terms of measurements. And I don't want you to be overwhelmed with that, but I want you to have the structures in place so that you can measure those things, okay? And see how your business is performing based on these measurements. Okay, how is your revenue growing year over year? I just looked at our numbers yesterday, and I was looking at, okay, we did 60% improved performance this year versus last year this time. All right, but just about 60%, a little under that. Okay, now that's a win for us. But if I saw that number dipped, then we'd like, okay, well, there'll be some actions to take immediately to improve the performance of our business. Like, okay, I'll be looking into, okay, what factors are going into place to cause the lack of performance, and we just eliminate those like right away. But if I didn't have those measurements in front of me, if I wasn't looking at those, then I wouldn't have those actions to take. Okay, it's not like I don't have actions to take, even though we're performing a lot better than we did last year this time. Okay, there's definitely actions we get to take, and I can see, what that is distinctly inside of business, just because I'm measuring these things all the way around. Okay, now you get to do the same. If you don't have those structures in place, I invite you to have those structures in place so that you can go out here and measure what you're doing in your business so that you can master it and scale your business beyond 7 figures and maintain your peace of mind, still have that ease and still create that legacy. That's what I invite you to do. It's always a pleasure to be with you on a call Mondays. Guys, I thank you for being here in the conversation with me. Without you, I wouldn't have, this in my life, this thing to look forward to. One of the main things I look forward to when I get out of bed in the morning is to be able to be here with you people and serve you guys in the way that we get to serve you. Because of you, my life is enhanced, is what I want to say. So I thank you. All right. So it's great being with you. Be with you next week on Monday. Guys, take this and run with it. We have finished this conversation on scaling your trucking company beyond 7 figures with the focus on finance. Next week, we'll be starting something new, okay? And most likely, we're going to talk about taxes and how you can go ahead and make sure you're compliant and understand the things that you can take advantage of when it comes to taxes. It's that time of year. We're bombarded with a lot of tax clients and everything. And by the way, guys, if you are a trucking company, come see me about your taxes. I've seen some stuff recently because people have not come to somebody with integrity, and it's heartbreaking to see that. All right. So if you're in a position where you want to come get somebody with taxes and who cares about what you're up to in life, I invite you to come see me. You can find our contact information here in this YouTube video. Reach out. You can also find us on the web at youraccountingsuperhero.com. Schedule a consultation there. But really, guys, there's no reason for you to be with anybody else than somebody who's going to want you to succeed and somebody actually understands and has your back in these areas. So I invite you to do that. Hey, guys, have a great rest of your week. It's always a pleasure being with you, and I'll talk to you then. Take care. Bye. Bye.